You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. ACC moves in to investigate the honeybee corruption scandal. Local Government Service Commission fires 15 council workers for various offences. CHILUFYA TAYALI files his defence against HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, saying he has enough evidence. In international news, Uganda blocks social media ahead of Thursday's presidential election as Museveni defends the move. And in sports news, late fast presidential aspirant Joseph NKOLE put to rest. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Lusaka Mayor Miles Sampa has launched the Wash COVID Away campaign aimed at preventing the further spread of the disease in public places. The city mayor says government will not be compelled to enforce lockdown measures for all Zambians, provided they follow the standard guidelines in preventing the spread of the pandemic. And Wash Zambia Chief Executive Officer Jonathan Case says his company has committed 1.5 million kwacha towards the campaign, with the aim of disinfecting over public places and over 500 homes. Details in this report.
The need to curb the further spread of COVID-19 in the country remains a collective responsibility of all well-meaningful Zambians. While it is true that umunwe umo tausalanda, or rather one finger cannot pick lice, there is need for people and all companies to put their hands and resources together to fight against the pandemic in one unit. It is for this reason that Wash Zambia, a laundry company, has launched the Wash COVID Away campaign aimed at disinfecting public places in order to contain the further spread of the pandemic. And Lusaka Mayor Miles Sampa, who was guest of honor at the event, has since launched the exercise.
So we are speaking for you. Mama Kwevo, they need to continue. Bagurisako, Mama Baz, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the law says from 14 hours to 23 hours, Bagurisako, Magala. So if all of us are obeying, then the country will not be locked down.
The mayor has a message for other stakeholders.
I'd like to thank Wash Zambia and the CEO, Mr. Jonathan Case, for sparing time to this local event. Most corporate partners in the city, they just talk. My statement on COVID, what are you doing about it? My statement on, there's a lot of companies in CBD, they themselves, they just look at the cabbage. They don't put in Camnet. So thank you, sir.
And WASH Zambia Chief Executive Officer is calling on other stakeholders to join the fight against the pandemic.
WASH Zambia has committed 1.5 million kwacha towards this campaign, with the aim of disinfecting over 50 public, private places such as banks, police stations, bus stations like Kulima Tower here, and more private places and malls. And also, WASH Zambia has committed to disinfect over 5,000 homes of our individuals who are using our services right now.
Zambia is for all, and the need to defend our country against all forces remains the responsibility of all well-meaningful Zambians. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, Zambian journalists are skeptical about taking COVID-19 vaccines owing to the lack of information surrounding the vaccines to be administered on them. The Ministry of Health has indicated that Zambia will soon receive the COVID-19 vaccine, which will be administered to citizens and journalists among the first people who will receive the shots as frontline workers. However, some local journalists have vowed not to take the vaccine, while others say they can only do so when there is enough information on the efficiency of the vaccine. More in this report.
There has been rumors that have been amplified by social media platforms suggesting that some Western countries would want to wipe out the African race or control population through COVID-19 vaccines. And information surrounding vaccines has been limited, and the recent rumors that have circulated could be agitating the negative reaction to this development. And most African countries, Zambia inclusive, have not developed their own vaccines.
And that 20% of the population, again, we've categorized it into healthcare workers. You people are working and interacting with a lot of other people at greater risk of getting COVID, so you need to have access to vaccine.
Following this information, various journalists took to social media to show their displeasure and lack of interest to take the COVID-19 vaccine, while others who spoke to us off camera denounced the move. However, the Zambia Union of Journalists has welcomed the development. Union Vice President Alex Njovu pledged to be among the first ones to be vaccinated.
Concerted effort in fighting this scourge. Therefore, this is why we're saying we're happy that the ministry has considered this myth that we are reading on social media and all over, that no, America, United States of America and the EU, they are on a path to exterminate or kill the race in Africa through the COVID-19. To me, I think it's just a myth. There's no empiric evidence, Sharon, to this, that no, these people want to kill us. Trust me. I mean, there's no evidence. Our health experts, our doctors in Zambia, the health minister himself, the current health minister, have said this vaccine is okay.
But the Zambia Institute of Independent Media Alliance is calling on the government through the Ministry of Health to quickly bridge the knowledge gap on vaccines to be administered in the country next month.
Imagine if a journalist does not have enough knowledge on this same vaccine. What about the public out there? So for us, we want to say this is an individual obligation. It's going to be chosen by any individual journalist if they want to be part and parcel of the vaccine or they don't want to be part and parcel. But we also...
And a seasoned journalist, Samuel Mbewe, says if the vaccines will be administered to journalists and other citizens without proper information, he will not accept it.
Recently, the government procured defective condoms and gloves. So I think we need to see to it that government actually give us full information before we receive this vaccine. But
if the journalists are skeptical to COVID-19 vaccines, what about ordinary citizens? Your guess is as good as mine. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has urged government to temporarily stop all public gatherings, including political rallies, in view of the spiking cases of COVID-19. The center has also called on President Edgar Lungu to consider suspending visiting of developmental projects, as such visits inevitably draw crowds of people, thereby endangering their health. JCTR Executive Director Father Alex Muyeba says the second wave of COVID-19 is severe and is thriving on complacency and acute disregard of the standard of COVID guidelines by both national leaders and the general public. Father Muyeba says his center is worried that if the non-compliance to COVID-19 guidelines continues, public health systems will soon be overwhelmed, leading to avoidable deaths.
In a form of reason that despite this grave reality in our midst, people continue with business as usual. JCTR is not only concerned but also worried that if non-compliance to COVID-19 guidelines continues, our public health system will soon be overwhelmed, leading to unavoidable deaths. It is evident that Zambia is now facing a health crisis. This crisis calls for leadership at all levels to help the country to wade out of the crisis. Therefore, JCTR joins other stakeholders in calling government to enforce wearing of masks in public places such as shopping malls, markets, bus stations, in public and private vehicles where there is more than one person on board. JCTR also urges the government to temporarily stop all public gatherings, including all political rallies of any shape or form. We call on the head of state to consider putting a halt to visiting of development projects, because such visits inevitably draw crowds of people, thereby endangering their health in this COVID era. The safety and the lives of the Zambian people.
The Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, has announced that investigations have been ongoing on the honeybee corruption scandal. ACC Public Relations Manager Timothy Mono says ACC is investigating, among other issues, the manner in which Honeybee Pharmacy was awarded a contract by the Ministry of Health to supply medical kits. Mr. Mono says investigations were instituted arising from information the Commission received from a whistleblower. He explains that a number of witnesses and suspects have been interviewed and investigations have since reached an advanced stage. He says the Commission expects to conclude its investigations in the soonest. Mr. Mono has assured the nation that the Commission will not relent to bring to book any persons or entities that will be found wanting to the said illegality.
The Anti-Corruption Commission wishes to inform the public that following revelations of suspected corruption in the manner Honeybee Pharmacy was awarded a contract by the Ministry of Health to supply medical kits, the Commission has been investigating the above allegations since August 2020. The investigations were instituted arising from information received from a named stakeholder. A number of witnesses and suspects have been interviewed, and investigations have since reached an advanced stage. The Commission anticipates that the investigations will soon be concluded. Several individuals and entities have in the past few days called upon the Commission to pursue this matter. The Commission wishes to assure the public that it will not relent to bring to book any persons or entities that will be found involved in the corrupt activities.
President Edgar Lungu says there is need to walk the talk if private-public partnership ventures are to bear fruits in the country. President Lungu says there is need for a proactive approach in the implementation of private-public partnership ventures across various sectors. The president says he is happy that MultiChoice has provided a platform on which Zambia is able to tell her story to the rest of the world. The head of state said this when a delegation from MultiChoice Zambia and Southern Region called on him at State House Wednesday morning. And MultiChoice Zambia board chairperson Juliana Mwila says MultiChoice has continued to thrive in the business due to the conducive environment that government has continued to provide for the private sector.
There is a economic knowledge group. This is from the what we are seeing today, 2020, is exactly what I predicted 5 years ago when I was projecting of 2027. So I want to believe that let's continue working the talk. Together we can go far. And we take a good example of partnerships between the private sector and the public sector, and I think MultiChoice is the way to emulate. We are able now in the sector, we are there in 2020, 2015. And we were making those pronouncements that promotes that some skeptics are saying, too cheap, the story. But I don't believe that we have done very well. Let's pat ourselves on the back. And we don't want to dance to our songs and music. We dance ourselves and we tell the story ourselves, because what we see predominantly in the industry beyond is pushing down to this country, this is local, this country is better than that, and so on. But you have all stood the course, stayed the course, and that's why we are here. So come to me as a partner.
Excellency, at one time, we in the media bemoaned when time would come for us to tell our own stories from Africa. Africa was always seen through the perspective of the Western world, but thank God that such partnerships have changed the whole thing. We are now telling our own stories.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has noted with concern that Zambian contractors have continued to receive lower value projects such as road maintenance as opposed to construction. Center Research Public Finance, Wakumelo Mata, says the 20% subcontracting policy aimed at increasing local participation in its current form only seeks to increase the number of subcontracts awarded to local contractors without any regard to the value of these contracts. Mr. Mata has further added that local contractors, to a larger extent, do not have the capacity to compete for contracts with other foreign competitors on account of some peculiar challenges, among them access to plant and equipment, limited access to lines of credit, and few skilled personnel. The center has since recommended that government should therefore scale up efforts to increase the capacity of local contractors through skills development, skills transfer, and increased access to finance, and extend the 20% subcontracting policy beyond the road construction.
Over the recent past years, the government of the Republic of Zambia has continued to implement an ambitious infrastructure development agenda in line with its short, medium, and long-term development plans. However, the Center for Trade Policy and Development notes that it's one thing to build Zambia, and it's quite another to actually have Zambians significantly participate in building their country. The center also notes with great concern that Zambian contractors have continued to receive lower valued projects such as road maintenance as opposed to actual road construction. Furthermore, it is a considered view that local contractors to a larger extent do not have the capacity to compete for contracts with their foreign counterparts on account of some peculiar challenges that they face, which include limited access to plant and equipment, limited access to lines of credit, few skilled personnel, limited roadwork experience, and poor construction management, as well as organizational skills.
Opposition United Party for National Development UPND President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA is demanding that government be transparent in the way it is handling issues in the mining sector, specifically NKOLE copper mines. Addressing the nations through the media Wednesday morning, Mr. HICHILEMA notes that the recent revelation that government will pay the KCM workers their terminal benefits in 3 folds is a joke that would send many former miners into destitution. Mr. HICHILEMA has since demanded that government pay all the workers losing their jobs their full benefits before the new owners at KCM take over the operations. His reaction comes in the wake of revelations that KCM has been split into 2 companies and that workers that worked under the management of Vendetta will be paid their terminal benefits in 3 phases. On that note, we take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Lamwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Economic and Equity Party President CHILUFYA TAYALI has filed his defense in a case where he has been sued by United Party for National Development UPND President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA. Mr. HICHILEMA has sued Mr. TAYALI for defamation of character in the Lusaka High Court, demanding 100 million kwacha as damages for libel for alleging that he corruptly benefited from the privatization exercise by stealing public assets and stripped Zambians of their benefits. But in his defense, Mr. TAYALI says the words he uttered towards Mr. HICHILEMA are justified and were fair and made in good faith and without malice on a matter of public interest. In an affidavit filed before court, Mr. TAYALI has denied asserting that Mr. HICHILEMA should be barred from vying for presidency because he has been convicted of a felony before. More in this report.
The case involving 2 opposition leaders, namely the United Party for National Development and Economic and Equity Party, continues in the Lusaka High Court, with now having Mr. CHILUFYA TAYALI, who is the leader of the Economic and Equity Party, file his defense today, the 13th of January 2021, in the matter he has been sued by the UPND leader, Mr. HAKAINDE HICHILEMA. Mr. TAYALI, in his defense, filed before court, states that the words he uttered toward the UPND leader are not defamatory, but rather a statement of truth and a fair comment on issues of public interest. In this matter, Mr. HICHILEMA has sued Mr. TAYALI for defamation in the Lusaka High Court, demanding 100 million kwacha as damage for libel for alleging that he corruptly benefited from the privatization exercise by stealing public assets and stripped citizens of their benefits. Mr. HICHILEMA wants an interim and permanent injunction restraining Mr. TAYALI, whether by himself, servants or agent, from further publishing or causing to publish or broadcast the defamatory words or anything similar against him. However, Mr. TAYALI states that there is nothing that stops him from expressing himself on matters of public interest, given the fact that he is in a political arena. On the 15th of November 2020, Mr. TAYALI held a press briefing in which he accused Mr. HICHILEMA as a transactional advisor to the UPND government during the privatization process of stealing, among other assets, a house in Cheston belonging to Zemco and depriving Mr. Jerry, the said property, as sitting tenant and former employee of the said company. Mr. TAYALI made remarks that the UPND leader should be in jail instead of aspiring for presidential, among other things.
The cases, the issues that are brought before the Anti-Corruption Commission is the issue relating to the house in Cheston. I've also reported Mr. HAKAINDE HICHILEMA on the issue relating to the farm number 1924. I've reported this to the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Mr. HICHILEMA last year had demanded that Mr. TAYALI apologize for uttering the allegations about him, but he refused to apologize or retract his statement in the 7 days period he was given. The UPND leader had filed through his lawyers in court that he has never been convicted of any criminal offense. Now, in his defense, Economic and Equity Party leader states that the words he uttered toward Mr. HICHILEMA are justified and were a fair comment which was made in good faith and without malice on a matter of public interest. He states that he did not twist any facts, and there are indeed some questions related to Mr. HICHILEMA's acquisition of the said properties. He states that he was speaking from an informed position and that he will avail that at trial. He adds that he has spoken to people and he has documents to back his allegation, and it suffices to say he has conducted investigations over the same issue. He states that Mr. HICHILEMA is not entitled to any damages he is claiming. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
All the 24 persons arrested by a joint team of the Zambia Police and the Lusaka City Council last month in Chawama compound have appeared in the Lusaka Magistrate Court. The 24 were arrested during a raid at a named property managed by self-proclaimed PF National Commander Innocent Kalimanchi on suspected criminal activities. According to the police, the 24 were found in possession of offensive weapons such as axes, machetes, golf sticks, knives, among others, suspected to be used in terrorizing the residents of Chawama and surrounding areas. During their appearance at court, security was tight. The 24 accused persons could not, however, take plea as their indictments were not brought before the court. And moving on in the news, the Local Government Service Commission says it has dismissed 15 employees from various councils across the country for various offences. Local Government Service Commission Chairperson Amos Mwila says the various offences includes misappropriation of funds, theft, dishonest conduct, gross negligence and absenteeism of employees from duty. Mr. Mwila says as painful as the dismissal may be, it is necessary in ensuring effective and efficient functioning of local authorities. The chairperson has further noted with great concern incidences of financial irregularities in some local authorities, which ultimately has a negative impact on service delivery. In this regard, Mr. Mwila says strengthening of the roles of internal audit and support from the management and elected officials is key in preventing the further misappropriation of funds in the councils. He has since demanded demanded total commitment and dedication to duty from all employees through the provision of quality service while adhering to the Code of Ethics for public service workers. Newly appointed Ministry of Health Minister Jonas Chanda says his immediate task at the ministry is to work towards restoring the lost public trust in the ministry. The Ministry of Health has recently come under fire from the public on allegations of widespread corruption under the leadership of fired Minister CHILUFYA. But Dr. Chanda says the perception has to be changed going forward. The minister has told the nation that in view of the honeybee corruption scandal, the ministry has found itself in a detailed report over the procurement and administration of COVID-19 vaccines will be issued soon. Dr. Chanda said this during the daily COVID-19 update, where he announced that the country has in the last 24 hours recorded 14 deaths with 1,343 new cases out of 11,302 tests conducted with 494 recoveries.
In the last 24 hours, 1,343 new cases were detected out of 11,302 tests done. I think that represents a positivity rate of almost 12%. And you remember where we're coming from, where the positivity rate of sometimes 1 to 2%. So now we're 12% positivity rate. The cases were detected in the following categories: healthcare facility screening, 744, routine screening, 47, contacts to known cases, 85, pre-travel screening, those ones who travel outside the country, 12, healthcare worker screening, 11, and point of entry screening, 4. The cumulative number of cases recorded nationally stands at 31,100. COVID-19 cases, including those requiring hospital management and oxygen therapy in the country, are on the rise. By 06 hours this morning, we had across the country 235 patients in admission, with 135 on oxygen therapy, 16 of whom are critical. The patients are admitted to health facilities across 25 districts. Zambia continues to record a good recovery rate, which is actually a very hopeful message for the country. And today, 494 people were discharged in the last 24 hours. Lusaka, 256 discharges. Western, 102 discharges. Southern, 61. Northwestern, 43. Central, 11. Eastern, Northern, 8. Wapla, 5. So total recoveries nationally stand at 21,568. Unfortunately, 14 patients died in various health facilities during the last 24 hours. So 14 patients died in the last 24 hours. The cumulative number of deaths stands at 509, broken down as 175 COVID-19 deaths directly, and then 328 associated deaths, and 3 yet to be classified. The new deaths were in the following facilities. Levy, in the past 24 hours, we had 4 deaths, 3 COVID-19 and 1 COVID-19 associated deaths. Age range is 45 to 81, 3 males and 1 female. CH, a man aged 69 years old classified as COVID-19 death. Chirungu District Hospital, 1 COVID-19 death was recorded. The deceased was a female aged 54 years. And Ndola Teaching Hospital, 3 COVID-related deaths. Mbala General Hospital, a 48-year-old man classified as COVID-19 associated deaths. Livingstone Central Hospital, 2 adult males classified as COVID-19 deaths. Choma District Hospital, a man 65 years old classified as COVID-19 death. Mamba District Hospital, a man aged 35 years classified as COVID-19 associated death.
The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, says the fight against COVID-19 should not be left to government alone, but all well-meaning Zambians if the pandemic is to be fought in totality. Speaking when he received donations from the Lions Club of Woodlands and Operation Mumbwa, DMMU Director in charge of operations, Joshua Kamanya, said government has continued to provide a lot of Zambians, hence the need for well-wishers to come in and help. Mr. Kamanya says the continued flooding in various parts of the country demands a lot of support from government and its cooperating partners. He says currently government is feeding 2.4 million people countrywide who were affected by floods and droughts in the previous farming season. He says due to the large number of people needing support, there is need for cooperating partners to come on board and help with whatever form of assistance they can render. He says the gesture by the two organizations should be emulated by others, including the business community, so that the burden of government can be reduced. Mr. Kamanya further assured the two organizations that DMMU will take the donated materials to the direct beneficiaries in Mumbwa without delays. Meanwhile, Woodlands Lions Club Vice President for Projects, Joseph Kamanga, says the club was touched when they saw the suffering of the people in Mumbwa district who were affected by the floods. Over 274 households in Mumbwa district were recently affected by floods that were caused by the bursting of the Kandesha Dam, causing damage to roads, bridges and other infrastructure, and claimed 2 lives.
We encourage you that you see as government, we cannot manage all these things, because if you look at the extent of the damage to the dam, to the water station, to the residents that are affected, that places a lot of stress on government. So with efforts such as this, it actually lightens our burden. And so we are so thankful to the Lions Club for the contribution of minimum. No contribution is small at all.
Stories in the news media about the suffering of our people, our relatives in Mumbwa as a result of flood. And as Lions, whose purpose is to save, we thought we could, in a way, in a small way, also be part of those who are contributing to the suffering of our people in Mumbwa.
So this is our second donation. The first one was done, I think, last week. But today, the value of the things that we have, I think, is worth about 6,000.
The Lusaka City Council says it has put in place sustainable mechanisms to put to rest the issue of garbage which the people of Bauleni compound have been facing in other parts of the city. LCC manager in charge of waste management and pest control says to clear all the garbage and effectively implement a proper garbage management system, it will need the involvement of community-based enterprises and community members. Speaking during the flagging off exercise led by Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe in Lusaka this morning, Mr. Kachikochi Banda has underscored the need to create awareness on proper waste disposal not only in Bauleni but all as well as other parts of the city. More in this report.
For years, waste management has emerged as one of the greatest challenges facing the city of Lusaka. Available data shows that Lusaka generates about 1 million tons of waste annually, equivalent to about 2,700 tons per day. But only half of this is taken to the designated dump site. Indiscriminate waste disposal is the order of the day in most communities. Baulen compound in Lusaka Central is one such area with difficulties in disposing waste. The community has been using this illegal dump site which is closer to people's homes, thus posing healthy risks to many residents. However, this will be a thing of the past following the intervention of Area Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe, who fulfilled her commitment to facilitate the collection of waste to prevent diseases such as cholera and uphold good sanitation.
And weighing waste. So when waste comes here, it is separated, it is weighed. And if you brought plastic bottles, you'll be paid for that right there. Okay, that's what, and it's bailing as well. Okay, there's a bailing spot. So that's what that's doing, and that's meant to clear all this rubbish, and that rubbish from there, and rubbish from Mulundu. So we're trying to clean up. In cleaning up, we're trying to find a long-term solution to clean up. Hence, the setting up of this center, and this is the man.
Lusaka City Council manager in charge of waste and pest control, Kachikoti Banda, says the council has put in place sustainable measures to manage garbage in the city.
We have an ambitious plan to separate and divert waste from Chunga landfill to recycling plants in a bid to protect public health, prevent disease, and promote health in Lusaka and particularly Bauleni. So, if you can see, we have the storage containers and buyback center there, where people can bring their waste, separated waste, and it's weighed and they're paid something. They go buy the bread. And if we upscale this, all this will be mopped up because we have the technology here in Osaka where products are made out of this recycled plastic, the paper and the like. So we're resuscitating our buyback center in Berlin with support from Honorable MP and of course LCC's own strategic plan and the Solid Waste Improvement Plan 2020-2024.
The residents of Bauleni have expressed gratitude for the gesture.
This is a gesture that we really want to appreciate. As you have seen, these mountains of garbage, they have got very serious health repercussions on the area. And so with this cleanup, we are really sensing a sigh of relief because this we will be able to improve on the sanitary and the cleanliness conditions of Bauleni Township and the surrounding areas. More importantly, I want to appeal to the residents, the members of the community themselves, to shift in their mindset, and they have an attitude of cleanness, because at the end of the day, cleanness is a personal responsibility.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
We take another set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crispy, fresh apple taste in the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda ukuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesigia na mawaipa.
Difficult dia shidia njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemoni! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaemo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose nchichinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempanga. Don't be stupid. We got it.
The Cowbell Choco formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs.
Tasting Cowbell Choco gives you the get up and go to be at the top of your game. Now with Vitality Plus Iron. Great tasting Cowbell Choco, a creamy chocolatey drink that helps give energy to get up and go.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Uganda has blocked access to social media and messaging apps ahead of Thursday's wholly contested election. A letter seen by AFP and Reuters was sent to all telecom firms by the communications regulator ordering the immediate shutdown. It comes a day after Facebook closed fake accounts it said were linked to the government, saying they were being used to boost the popularity of posts. The run-up to the election has been marred by tension and violence. President Yoweri Museveni is seeking his 60th elected term in office after 35 years of power. The 76-year-old faces 10 challenges, most notably a 38-year-old pop star turned politician, Robert Kyangulanyi, known by his stage name Bobi Wine. The BBC's patience in the Ugandan capital Kampala says the campaign period has been dominated by social media as political parties have tried to reach the young, politically aware population. Here is Africa News with the rest of the details.
Ahead of Uganda's heated election on Thursday, the government's ordered internet service providers to block all social media platforms and messaging apps until further notice. Ugandans complained earlier they could not access Facebook and WhatsApp. The platforms were being used for campaigning by candidates such as pop star turned politician Bobi Wine, who's emerged the main challenger to 76-year-old President Museveni, who's been accused of clinging to power. The Electoral Commission has told voters to go home quickly after casting their ballots due to coronavirus precautions. But Wine's urged them to stay and guard the vote and take photos on their phone. Meanwhile, on Monday, Facebook shut dozens of accounts belonging to Ugandan government officials, accused of seeking to manipulate public debate ahead of the elections. President Museveni has ruled since 1986 and is seeking a 6th term.
Still in international news, President Yoweri Museveni's government has unleashed military armed vehicles in the streets of Uganda. The tankers had a drive through the famous opposition stronghold down in Kampala. Uganda is now some 45 hours away from its presidential and parliamentary poll. The convoy of armored military vehicles mechanically passes through the capital every so often in a show of force. Uganda's People's Defense Force soldiers, police and the local defense unit, comprised of civilians trained and armed by the government to help beef up security, has also been patrolling the city on foot, mainly in areas perceived to be opposition strongholds. About 18 million voters were expected to elect a president and members of parliament. The polls have been clouded by uncertainty and already marred by violence. We now get into sports news. And in sports news, Former Referees Association of Zambia President and FAS presidential aspirant Joseph NKOLE, who died 5 days ago, has been put to rest at Lusaka's Memorial Park. Prior to his death, the late football administrator was aspiring to become FAS president. His coffin was wrapped in plastics with medics wearing protective gear, giving a signal of what might have killed him. A sizable number of people was around the burial site. NKOLE died on Friday, 8th January 2021 at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital, Lusaka, after a short illness.
You heap burning coals upon his head. Do not be conquered by evil, but conquer evil with good. The word of the Lord.
That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. ACC moves in to investigate the honeybee corruption scandal. Local Government Service Commission fires 15 council workers for various offences. CHILUFYA TAYALI files his defence against HAKAINDE HICHILEMA, saying he has enough evidence. In international news, Uganda blocked social media ahead of Thursday's presidential election as Museveni defends the move. And in sports news, late FAS presidential aspirant Joseph NKOLE put to rest. The Camnet World Verse of the Day is coming from the book of Matthew 5 verse 10, and it reads, "Those who are persecuted for righteousness are blessed, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.